Good morning, everyone. Oh, that's much better. Wow, we have standing room only this morning. This is wonderful. We have some seats up front. Come in and fill in up front here. We want you to come in and feel comfortable. Yeah, it's like church. Everybody sits in the back, right? Come on in and fill up front. We're not going to bite you, I promise. All right. So we welcome you to 1MC, which is 1 Million Cups. We are backed by the Kauffman Foundation, and my name is Aaron Wiggum. I am the program director of New You, a volunteer. This is our leadership team, which is Mitch Sims, who leads Pig Tracks. You want to give him a wave, Mitch? There is Tara Payne, who leads Maven's Meat. Ethan Harkey with Harkey Productions. And Sean McCroskey isn't in here right now. So we are the leadership team of 1 Million Cups here in Tulsa, and we're excited to have such a wonderful group this morning. We're going to have a good time hearing from two wonderful presenters, one nonprofit, one for-profit, and we are excited to see how they are building this ecosystem together. Just a few housekeeping rules. There are bathrooms right down the hall here if you've never been to 36 Degrees. We would like to thank our sponsors for this morning. It's 36 Degrees North and also Topeka Coffee. Excuse me, not Topeka. Antoinette's. Topeka usually sponsors us. Antoinette's provided us coffee this morning. So let's give our sponsors a hand real quick. Can we do that? So how this works, the presenters will come up and they'll give a presentation for about 6 to 10 minutes. It is not a pitch, it is a presentation. We like to think of 1 Million Cups as more of a dolphin tank than a shark tank. And so we all swimming in the same direction. And the idea is after they give that 6 to 10 minute presentation, that we'll have 20 minutes of Q&A with each presenter. We'll take a little intermission, and then the second presenter will come up. Is that all right? You ready to get the party started? All right. So we bring up our first company this morning, which are two young, lovely ladies. One presented with us last month and gave us a little teaser, and she brought her partner in crime to actually kind of steer the ship for us this morning. So I ask that you would give a rousing applause for Emily and Leslie with Modus.
Thank you, Aaron. Okay, my name is Leslie Neal Emery. Thank you all so much for having us here. I am the executive director of Modus. We are a nonprofit that was founded in 2017 here in Tulsa. And our mission is to remove barriers through innovative transportation solutions, education, and advocacy. So the big why. So we would like to start out with what the big problem is of what we're trying to solve here. So there's about 20% of people in Tulsa that cannot access the services and the opportunities that they need to thrive. And so we have all these great services in town. I don't know if, I'm sure you guys have seen other nonprofits come and talk. We're a very, very philanthropic city, but some of the people who need these services the most cannot access these services. So that's why we started Modus. So we have 4 different programs under our organization, and we kind of break them down into how we're addressing the immediate needs and the long-term, more sustainable needs. So short-term needs, long-term with more immediate access solutions, and then sustainable solutions. So through the immediate access, we have Modus Drive, Modus Delivers, Modus Ed, and Modus Gives. The asterisk means that they're both the new programs that we actually just started this year. So our flagship program is Modus Drive that we started in 2017. And that is a program that partners with social service agencies. We have about somewhere between 25 and 30 partners right now. It's growing all the time, where we partner with direct service agencies to transport their clients to medical and social service appointments. So the staff at those different agencies can request rides on behalf of those clients. We have a group of volunteer and staff drivers who will take those rides and make sure that clients can access those services and opportunities. I believe we were talking about some of our success through these programs, so I don't want to get into too much of that right now, but Modus Delivers is a new program that we just started in June, and it is a program that was recently funded through Tulsa Air United Way. an innovation grant, and it is a partnership with Life Senior Services and Catholic Charities, where we are providing fresh groceries every week to at-home or homebound low-income seniors. We are starting it as a pilot right now with 50 people to kind of work out the kinks, but the idea for this is to scale it over time and offer it to different demographics as we grow. Modus Ed is our educational component, where we educate local youth and staff at different social service agencies on how to use existing transit options like Tulsa Transit. We want to make sure that if it's, they aren't eligible to use Modus Drive for that, whatever their need is, that if they get that job that we help them get to the interview for, that they can use other more sustainable options moving forward, like the bus. And then Modus Gives is a new program as well, where we are, it's still in development, but we are donating vehicles to individuals that are clients of different, or our partner agencies. We are accepting nominations starting in October to find out who this would be life-changing for and who is really deserving of a vehicle. It's a big gift, so we want to make sure we're thinking through it all very carefully, but we've already given 2 cars away, and this, in 2022, by the end of the year, we're looking to give at least 2 more cars, possibly 3 cars away again. So kind of some of the big milestones that we've had so far. We've given over 15,000 rides since 2017. 5,000 of that was just in 2021. So you can see how, there's not a graph here, but we've been growing over the years quite a bit. I remember the first month we started, we were about to celebrate our 5th year anniversary, and the first month we gave 4 rides. Now we're giving about 800 rides a month. We have, over time, we've partnered with 43 different social service agencies, not all active agencies right now, but we have partnered with them in the past. We've taught over 16,000 TPS high school students how to ride Tulsa Transit. We have donated 2 cars. Our average ride rating, this is my favorite stat that we have, it is a 4.96 out of 5 stars that we ask for client feedback after every ride, and that is our current rating. So we like to say that we're giving more than just a ride. We're providing a very a great experience for our drivers and for our clients. And then we've delivered 550 pounds of groceries so far. We've only had 2 weeks of that so far, so that's definitely going to be growing. So a little bit about the way that we're funded. So we're a nonprofit, but we operate a little bit differently because we have we rely on an earned income model. So right now, about 68% of our funding comes from private foundations, mainly local foundations in Tulsa. 15% currently comes from earned income, and the way that works is that all of these agencies, they purchase a ride package from us that they can purchase 100 rides for a year for their clients or 2,000 rides for the year for their clients. The more they tell us, so they know, that helps us predict what our capacity will need to be. So the more they buy, the cheaper it gets per ride. But that covers 15%. And as we partner with more and more agencies, the idea is that we are able to rely less on these private foundations and more on our earned income. 2% right now is individual giving, and government grants is 15%. That is mainly because of the funds that have come through the CARES Act and ARPA funds since COVID, really. Okay, so our challenge is that 2% needs to grow. We are very well known among a very small sector of Tulsa. So I know one board member, Kate is here, so she knows about us, but I'm not sure who else has heard about Modus. But if you work at a social service agency or at a foundation, you probably do know about us. But that's the thing, is that since that's who our main audience is, that's who we spend all of our time working with, and that's who's aware of us. And our goal this year is to really increase our individual giving. So we're looking to increase that 2%, and what we're looking at for that is to get $15,000 this year from individual donors. So Emily here has done a lot of research on different ideas to do this, and some of these things up here are some of those different ways that we could implement individual giving campaigns. What we have seen is that we want to really focus on a monthly giving program. And just to put it in perspective, if we had 50 donors give only $25 a month, then we can reach $15,000. So it's not that much whenever you look at it like that. But the challenge that we're going to be asking, wait, is the next one the challenge? Yes, is how do we make transportation equity, which is what we're trying to achieve here, captivating to a general audience? In other words, what would make you guys want to give $25 a month? We are working on transportation. It is not, the sexiest topic. It's not the easiest to fundraise for and to get everyone passionate about it. We are passionate about it because we know what transportation means. It means access. But if we're going to be looking to increase our individual donor base, we need your all's help to understand how to get people interested and passionate about what we're doing. And that is what I would like to start the Q&A with.
Wonderful job, Leslie. First question, Tammy.
Have you met Lindsay with Right On Funding?
We have, yes, actually. We actually had a partnership with them for quite a bit.
So you're not selling transportation equity. I mean, that's what you're doing, but that's not what you're selling. As far as your fundraising, you have to turn it into you're selling opportunity.
Right.
Right? So you don't ever use the transportation is what you do, but it's no different than, I'm Catholic, I know about Catholic charities and the fundraising that we do for that. And we don't talk about the fact that we're giving away clothes. We talk about how we're building opportunities for families so that they can go get a job and have things there. So that's, you don't have to even worry about that part. It's just you've got to show all the people that you've helped. You've got to have all the stories. You've got to have a video where you talk about how we've been working with this person, and the average time it takes to get a person to an equitable position is this. And here are their stories, and so that would be great.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Great advice.
We just asked you to repeat the question when he said.
Oh,
Go
repeat
ahead. You're good. You're
that
good.
question? Oh, okay.
How did this come about? What made you guys want to start this?
So great question. It was actually, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar with The Mine. It's a great program here in Tulsa. It's an entrepreneurial incubator out of OU Tulsa. And what they do is they accept a couple different problems that the community can bring up to them every year, and then they assign a fellowship to it. So a few different social service agencies actually came to them and said, hey, we don't have any way to get clients to us. That's the biggest problem. And once we start talking to different agencies, you realize this is actually top 3 of everyone's issues. And I would say probably number 1 right now. But I mean, if you're talking about getting to medical appointments, it's access, it's insurance and transportation. It's just, I mean, it goes beyond just the social service appointments. It's not just counseling. We're talking about employment opportunities. We're talking about, we serve all different types of agencies. We help mothers get to their children to wellness appointments. We help kids get to their schools sometimes. But they came into the problem, and the Mine Fellowship, they took this problem on, they worked on it for a while, and they came up with a loose idea of what could work, and then they went out actually and got an innovation grant, our first one, and we just got another one from Tulsa United Way to get some seed funding to start this. And then Youth Services of Tulsa agreed to house it for the first year to pilot it, and that's when I came on, started developing it. We worked specifically with youth at first. The reason why we worked with youth is because they didn't have any other options. Even if resources weren't a problem, Uber and Lyft aren't available for people under 18. And I know people can get around that, they're not checking IDs, but it's really not sustainable to make that the plan. So we focused on them to begin with, to give that option. But then, since then, we have spun off, become our own 501c3, and spread our audience to, now we're serving Life Senior Services. We have no age limit on who we serve. They just have to be 13 years old now. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just a little unclear. So you offered rides, but I don't, what are the top 3, needs that you fill? Like grocery delivery, medical appointments, something like that. I'm not sure. It sounds like you do a lot of things, but I'm not clear. So can you tell me what the top 3 are? And the second thing is, if I were to give $50 or $25 a month, how many rides am I paying for? How many groceries am I delivering? What is that $25 doing?
Yeah. Okay. So, so just to understand your first question, you're asking kind of what our top 3 programs are.
Yeah, you mentioned that there's a gap, but I don't
Yeah, so the gap is that there's a lack of transportation. Transportation barriers exist, and so that means, right? So we're like, so you think we hear about food deserts, right? That's a common term thrown around. We're trying to address transportation deserts, but people can't access grocery stores because they don't have transportation. People can't access medical appointments because they don't have transportation. So really, that's our mission, and we come up with innovative solutions to address that major problem is that people don't have the transportation to get to the services and the opportunities that they need to succeed and thrive. And so and resources. So that's where Modus Delivers gets in.
He's asking the rides that you give in, what have they gone to?
Right. Okay. So, so the first question though, with those 4 programs, they're all working towards that common theme, right? And so, answer your second question. The groceries right now, we're figuring out those costs, so that's why it's a pilot. So we're trying to understand. Catholic Charities donates all the groceries, thankfully. Life Senior Services, they identify the participants that need to be delivered to, and then we do all the heavy lifting and make sure that they get it every week. So that kind of cost analysis, we're not buying the groceries, we're figuring out what the costs are that we're accumulating, and that's why we asked for that innovation grant to have the time to do that. So I don't have that exact number for that. As far as the rides go, typically it costs about $15 for a one-way trip, $30 round trip to get someone to and from, and because we don't have, we serve 28 zip codes in Tulsa, so it's basically all the Tulsa metro, and we don't have any limits. As long as someone is needing a ride between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and they're in our service area map, which is all of Tulsa, then we will not turn those rides down. And it's being referred from a partner agency. So we have to adjust to some of those, the variabilities, but on average, those are the numbers that I can give.
So out of those 5,000 rides that you gave last year, what categories were they divided between?
Yeah, so I don't have the slide in front of me right now, but it's medical, it's employment, it's education, it's what else? Legal services, legal aid, some childcare. We don't limit them, our agencies either. We say that they know their clients better than we could, and if they're requesting those rides and wanting to use their ride package for it, then we know that it's a need. So we don't. Sometimes it's going to be to get someone to work because their car's in the shop, but then sometimes it might be because they actually need it every day. So we have a lot of different variables in that.
So the 25,000 is for unlimited rides per month, or what's the 25,000 subscription?
So that's what we're trying to figure out. That's why I'm here. We don't have it. We don't have it figured out. We only have 2% of our funding is from this. We haven't had time, or we haven't. This is what we're trying to develop. Mm-hmm. This is why I'm asking what information do you all need? What would make you guys interested in and passionate about what we're doing?
I think be able to go on your site and say, okay, X percent of your rides last year went to this, and X percent went to that. And our goal is to be, we still have this category is still this underserved, and this why.
Okay. Yeah. So great. Yeah. Just that's interesting to know what education we need to be putting out there. Sometimes we have a ton of data, we have a ton of stories. It's making sure that we're appealing to the wider audience and making sure, just thinking through that.
So it sounds like a little bit of the chicken and the egg here. So you guys are asking, you need information to know how to inform that question or that answer, and she's asking you for the question. So like, it's a little bit of chicken and the egg here. Okay, we're gonna come to you in 1 second, JD. So really, if you heard about this program, right, or would you be inclined, what would make you inclined to actually find out more about it and then to give to it? Would it be that you have a loved one who is sick? Would it be that you have an elderly person that you live with that does need appointments? Would you have to live the situation out yourself? What would be the connector that would make you want to give to this? That's what she's asking you all. Any feedback on that?
I think making the demographic clear. So like you mentioned earlier that you started with like teenagers or people who are under 18, making that clear. And then you went and said that they know their clients, so it doesn't matter what the age is. But if we can know, like Max was saying, who exactly you serve, because if I know that if I want pizza, I can go to Empire, I can go to these different places. But I want to be able to clearly say, oh, this is why I would choose Lotus. We need to be able to identify 13 to 85 are the people we serve in these types of situations.
Okay, so you're saying, just to understand, so you're more interested in the demographic that we're serving rather than the services. So it's more about, you'd be more interested in saying, I'm interested in serving youth regardless of what exactly it is.
I just want to be able to identify who you serve so that I can know who I can
Tell,
tell. That, hey, you should
Yeah, how does she evangelize this? How,
right, so we're not looking for more clients and we're not looking for more social, we're looking for individual donors.
Okay.
That's the specific question that we're here today to ask for. So I'm interested, like, along the same lines, thinking through if you were going to tell a friend who's saying, hey, I want to start donating, and you say, well, let me tell you about Motive. Like, what would make you want to put this, to say, hey, transportation matters, and let me tell you, because we can't be the only people advocating for transportation, because a lot of people don't know that transportation's an issue. You know, I mean, who rode Tulsa Transit here today? Who drove their cars? Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing. It's that a lot of people who have the means to give monthly are not able to see the problem all the time, right? So, I mean, this is just it's a tougher one. I mean, I love emergency infant services. Those are babies that we know need things. That's something that pulls at the heart. That is, I mean, they're not going to be here asking how to get you guys passionate about that, right? This one's a little tougher, I feel like.
yeah.
But your clients can be those that are needing the baby formula and have no way to get there because the Tulsa Transit is not reliable.
And they are.
Exactly.
They are. Yes. No, that is the point. And so, yes, we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting to the right
So
thought.
like, you may have parents that are recovering addicts that are in Lindsay House, and they have children. I'm just making up a story. I don't know if you do it. But Lindsay House, for those of you who don't know, is it's for recovering addicts, for women specifically that have children. So they live in these apartments, it's subsidized, blah, blah, blah. But then they have to get a job. Well, I know because we hired them before that it sometimes takes 45 minutes to get from Lindsay House to our offices at 51st and Lewis. Sometimes it takes 2 hours, and they're taking the same bus
Right.
every day, right? You can't rely on them. Most McDonald's will not be okay with you showing up 2 hours late for your shift. So that's what this is.
Which, thank you for explaining why Modus is here. That is completely true. That's why we exist, and that's why, you know, we can't just say, well, the bus is here. Why doesn't that just work? I mean, there's a huge demand, and we don't have a problem with demand or filling that demand. It's diversifying our funding and just widening our brand awareness so that more of the general public is aware of this. You guys all know about Meals on Wheels. That's really about transportation too. That's about food deserts and people not being able to access those opportunities. So we're kind of, I mean, we're not the same, but I would say kind of along those lines, just trying to figure out what would make you all passionate about this. And so some of those ideas were great. I mean, talking about this is about access. This is about opportunities. This is not just, I mean, we always say this is more than just a ride. It is, you know, this is allowing people to get to anything that they need to get to, you know? I mean, if you can't start your day with reliable transportation, how do you get to anything else? How do you get to that next step where you're looking for a job or getting hired for that job if you can't get there? So I know he had a question. Is that okay?
With the $25, I would think it would be good to know if I was going to be donating, how many rides I'm actually giving with that $25 that equals out to per month, and if I'm able to choose, say if it goes to mothers, say only, or the elderly. It doesn't have to be about race or age, but if I know, like, if it's going toward them and how much I'm helping them per month by that $25 and how many rides they equals. But also note that it's working towards something, meaning they're not abusing the program, versus like they're saying they're going to the grocery stores, but they actually get dropped off at an apartment building or something like that. That there's a cap, that they essentially are working with that person to eventually get them a vehicle. That I think will be advantageous to getting that $25 per month from a person if I know how many rides that I'm actually helping them get. And I can choose maybe the category that I'm helping a single mother, or I'm helping Ellie get to medical places, something that's actually beneficial, that I'm aware of what is going on with my $25.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for that advice. I know that was a timer. Okay. Yeah.
Hi. I really like this idea, having just moved from somewhere that's extremely biker, walker, and bus transportation friendly. You don't need to own a car to live there. And it's been really frustrating for me, even though I have a car, to live here. But I think one of the things is studies have shown a lot that it's easy to appeal to people in need about things that meet people in need, but those aren't the people who have the resources to give to these kinds of projects. And like we just experienced in the last comment, people who have less resources, who don't have unlimited resources to give, tend to want to micromanage how it's done and how they're being reported to. If you want to reach the people that have the finances, I think you need to find something that changes their world a little bit, which probably isn't what the need is for, if that makes sense. But maybe they have a need to get druggies off the road and not trying to drive clunker cars that are slamming into their vehicles. I saw 3 accidents in one day last week in downtown. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying you're going to have to find something to appeal to people who have a lot more self-interest in preserving their own self-interested ways of life.
Do you have any examples on that?
I'm not defending that, but I'm just saying, like, if you can say, like, hey, we can get people off the road not trying to drive if we provide adequate public transportation for people, or we can get people who shouldn't be driving on bicycles, that have DUIs or whatever, that are driving illegally and possibly causing problems on the road for your car, for your nice vehicle that you're trying to get around in, for your children who are trying to get to and from places or driving whatever they are. And I'm just saying, if you just kind of twist it and look at it from a different way, you might be able to appeal to people who have more resources. And I'm not defending that perspective.
No, I
I'm
get what
just
you're saying.
saying
Those
that
are good
you kind of have to
points,
look
yeah.
at it from, I'm making a stereotype about people who you might need to get money from, that they're selfish.
Well, I get your example as an example. I see where you're going with that. That's a great point. Thank you for that advice.
Yeah.
Okay. I think data speaks volumes, and it goes back to what everyone else is saying. People must be clear on what they're giving and why they're giving it, and what impact it actually will have. So going back to his comment, my $25 will do this for this particular demographic, which is getting more clear about the data, which represents this amount of folks that have this issue, right? Because when people give, they're giving. They want to make a clear give that connects with their emotion, right? I'm not just giving to really solve a problem. I'm giving more so for satisfaction in terms of, like, how can I contribute, even if it directly does not impact me. So be very clear with the demographic that you're serving, what impact it's going to have on them, even if this is more Tulsa specific, what regions. Like regionally, how many rides are being given in North Tulsa, East Tulsa, West Tulsa, South Tulsa? That clearer picture allows for people to feel like they're more of the solution, just opposed to giving to give.
Yeah. No, great points. Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, and I also have a question. Is there a way to maybe create a model where your clients maybe are able to advocate on your behalf to their donors and include that into their, operational costs or their funding budgets? So that way, because it's a need to them and they need transportation for their organization or for their members, maybe they can advocate to their donors, because they're maybe also fundraising, and putting that as a budget line or item for
That's a
their.
great point. We do that with our looking for volunteer recruitment. We always say that the more volunteers we have, the more people we can serve, and then that could eventually affect. We could offer the cost savings to them if we increase our capacity for that. So I hadn't thought about it for the donor side. So that's a great point. Thank you.
Yeah, it's more like a social enterprise in a sense. And you could charge them, your clients, a fee, and they go to their donors and say, hey, we need this service for our
something worth exploring.
organization.
There's an incentive for everyone for this to grow. So
Yes,
that's great.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you. Okay, I know I'm way over. Okay, yeah, all right. Thank you guys so much.
Great job. Great job. All right. So we asked you to go ahead and get some coffee real quick. We do have coffee over here. I don't want to take it with me, so grab a cup of Joe. We're also going to have Tara Payne come up and give us some announcements. She has some guests for us this morning. Great job. Yes. Great job.
All right, that was great.
Great job.
I love all the feedback. JD, I'm looking at you because I would like for you to come to the stage. So typically at this point, what we do is, as our intermission, is to kind of give you a teaser as to what's coming next month. And we have two companies that we would like for you. Can you guys hear me okay? We have two companies that we would like to introduce to you. The first one is Boxtown Team, and JD is the founder of that. He is currently a member of the Act Tulsa cohort, and we just want him to give us your name, the name of your organization, and what problem that your organization or product solves.
Okay.
Tell us your name.
I'm JD with Boxtown Team. We produce innovative products for ladders and paint accessories. Essentially, what I'm going to be presenting next month is an update. I came through here 4 years ago, back in 2017. So it's going to be more of an update from my progression and how the community's helped me grow. So.
All right, up next, we have the recent grand prize winner of the third Build in Tulsa Female Founder Pitch Night. And we've got Dr. Kiana of Socialpreneur Lab.
So by 2027, 50.9% of the workforce is going to be freelance artists or entrepreneurs. Yet 96% of kids don't have access to entrepreneurship or financial literacy. So enter Socialpreneur Lab. Next month, you will learn about our FinTech program that allows kids to learn about business concepts, helps them actually earn money through our crowdfunding platform, and then sell their product online through our platform. And so through this, we're teaching kids how to earn, we're teaching them how to invest. We're also going to be opening a neobank so we can keep all transactions and help them manage their money and invest their money online. So you guys will learn more next month, but we're super excited.
All right, you guys ready for our second presenter? Wonderful questions, by the way. That's what this is for, is to create a good conversation around the thesis. So wonderful assertions here this morning. We have two wonderful young ladies who had a beautiful collision as their futures kind of came together in a very serendipitous way. One's from Atlanta, one's from New York. Now they're both in Tulsa, and they are looking to take the pain out of menstruation. Give a hand, please, for Elle and for Jessica with Onyx.
I was about to say, I'm the one that needs the mic. Hello. Okay. Oh, do we have a clicker? No clicker? Oh. Is this the clicker, Aaron? Or no? Or should we put the laptop up here? Okay. Good morning. Hi. My name is Elle, and this is my lovely co-founder, Jessica, and we are the founders of Onyx, where we are reimagining the period experience. So I'd like to introduce you to Kayla. She's a 22-year-old, and she lives right here in Tulsa. By the time she was 13, she had her very first period and immediately became a woman, as one does. But no, seriously, from that point on, she was walking around every day in a body that she didn't identify with, one that she didn't feel comfortable in or really even understand. So Kayla had endometriosis, but she didn't know this at this point. For her, we all know that periods are really painful, but her periods would normally send her to the ER. And a lot of doctors, most of them, didn't know how to pinpoint like why her periods were so painful. So for her, finding answers looked like lots of Googling, lots of Reddit searching, trying to find people who may have had the same experience. Of course, lots of self-diagnoses, and I know that we've all been there, self-diagnosing, up late at night on WebMD, getting scared half to death. but by the age of 20, she was diagnosed properly with endometriosis. But this was after surgery, temporarily induced menopause, and leaving her with the only option to be on opioids indefinitely.
We believe in solving natural problems with natural solutions. So we've worked alongside our all-star advisory board from Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer to create an easy-to-use applicator or easy-to-use alternative to over-the-counter drugs. Please meet our MVP, our Relief Stick. We are in heavy R&D and beta testing to prove our proof of concept. Our Relief Stick relieves pain at the source, and it's vaginally inserted and is 3 times faster than an over-the-counter pain pill. The science-backed natural alternative takes 60 seconds to be absorbed by the body from start to finish. And it doesn't replace your tampon, it works alongside of it. So you insert the Relief Stick prior to your tampon, let the CBD do its thing, remove it, dispose of it, and then continue your day in comfort. So periods are mentally, emotionally, physically, and sometimes financially draining. And I know this because I have 17 years of experience having a period. Kayla is one of the 46 million menstruators who are struggling to show up in their everyday lives because of unbearable period pain. Now more than ever, 58 million menstruators are desiring and opting for a more natural alternative. And in fact, 55% of CBD users are women. And besides the physical drain, periods can be a little uncomfy to talk about. There's a lot of social stigmas, taboos associated with periods, leaving 49 million menstruators suffering in silence, feeling uncomfortable, asking for the solutions that they need and deserve.
So Onyx is solving for all of these problems. We're redefining the menstruation experience and shaping the future for the next generation of menstruators. While we're in heavy R&D, we're creating a path for the future right here in Tulsa and right now. We're actively beta testing, so we've been getting great experiences. We've been getting great feedback from the experience, like this here. And right now, we would like to offer everyone in the audience to have the same experience, to try Onyx, so you can see for yourself, or scan for somebody else that you think deserves a pain-free period.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Yes, please scan this QR code if you know someone who deserves a pain-free period, or you yourself. Okay. And also, if you have any trouble scanning it, please come talk to us after the presentation.
For sure.
Oh. No, we have one more slide.
Yeah, go for it.
We're not done. We're going to talk about periods forever, okay, for the rest of the day. Kayla shouldn't be alone, and you shouldn't be either. So every Wednesday, we host a weekly flow session where we talk about periods, women's health, and creating an inclusive environment in public settings. So please grow with us in setting a new standard for all menstruators. Thank you. No, so that's a great question. So our ask is we are looking for beta babes who are interested in trying out a pain or a 60-second application for a pain-free period. And then also, if you'd like to join our weekly flow sessions. So that's our ask.
We're also actively growing our waitlist, so it would be great if you could go to weareonyx.us to join our waitlist to support in that way.
Yes.
Sorry if you said this already, but what's the feedback been from data so far?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. So we like to increase the numbers of people who are trying it, so it's not just so small. The sample size isn't so small, so we can prove that it's effective, not just from the size that we have locally.
Can you repeat the question?
He asked how beta testing was going and how well or not well
Thank you.
the feedback has been. Yeah, weekly flow. So we hold weekly flow every Wednesday at the incubator, 36 Degrees North incubator space at the City Hall building. And it's basically at noon. You can use your lunch break to kind of just gather with people, like-minded people in the office, to kind of co-create an office culture that's really inclusive. We kind of share stories, talk about our days, highs and lows, and we kind of just use the time to bring up women's health issues or not, just kind of flow with the week. It's really like a midweek wellness check-in for the office.
It was kind of born out of desire for us too, to just talk about periods in the office. Like when we first came to the incubator, the first thing we did was throw a bunch of tampons and pads on the table, just to see the reaction of everyone. And then just from there, we started, as we started to gain traction, we started talking about wellness, we started talking about women's health from all different phases. Non-menstruators are more than welcome to come to join the conversation.
And they often do come. Men
Yeah.
will come and listen, ask questions. And I think it's because we really do want to like create that culture, but also take away the stigmas in public spaces, just so that we're solving the problem of like painful periods, but also solving the problem of people not looking at periods as like as big red X, you know.
And having the conversation in 36 has been so great, just because we've seen the oh crap baskets in the bathroom, lactation room. So, and also there is a 5-year plan that they plan on initiating for a more inclusive environment.
I have a question.
Yes.
What's the timeline for your product and what price point are you shooting for?
What's the timeline for our product and what's the price point we're shooting for?
Yeah,
That's the question.
I was thinking that it's not available to market yet.
Right, we are pre-product.
Okay.
So Q1 of 2023 is when we're anticipated to launch, and at the fair price point.
So where'd he go?
Mutually beneficial price point.
So we understand that CBD is a luxury item sold at a luxury price.
Yeah.
And accessibility is one of our main pillars at Onyx. So it's in our long-year plan, our long-term goal, to make sure that it's accessible for everyone. Maria.
Could you talk a little bit more about the product itself? Like what's it made out of? How'd you start ideating? So forth.
Yeah, so the MVP, her question was what is the product made out of? What does it do? So the MVP design simply just has a high dosage of CBD, ranging from about 100 to 125 milligrams. After doing some customer research and peer-reviewed research from our advisors, they suggested a high dosage of 100 to 125. So it's combined with cocoa butter, which is very safe to use. Even after giving birth, mothers tend to use it to relieve pain. And the formula is on a sponge that is on a stick. So right now the MVP is not like the best sustainable option because it's a disposable, but that is what we're using for our proof of concept.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was just curious, what was the manufacturing cost of the MVP that you sent out to your beta babes?
Manufacturing cost of the MVP. You said, what are the manufacturing costs of the MVP to send out? You trying to look at the line sheet? I don't know.
I can send it to you.
Go ahead.
So the MVP, we were working with a chemist out of Georgia. So that was around
I'd say less than 5,000.
Yeah, less than 5,000. Less than 5,000. Yeah.
To be able to do the whole program from like materials, raw materials, to like shipping, handling, all of the things, less than 5K.
Question.
JD.
How long does your stick last compared to other products that are on the market? Because I know you're CBD, but how long does it actually go for 4 hours, 8 hours versus the current pain pills?
Yeah, so everybody's body is different. So CBD reacts differently based on body composition and BMI. But on average, like from the beta testing we've gotten from 2 to 6 hours range.
I have a quick question. You guys' weekly flow, like I've attended, awesome. What are like do you guys have any future plans for weekly flow? I know it's something that you guys are kind of doing now on a weekly basis just at the incubator, but is there a plan to like incorporate that onto your platform and kind of expand that in any way?
Yeah, so the question was how are we, or do we plan on scaling weekly flow? Yes, so our kind of like to circle back to the 49 million people who don't feel comfortable asking for the solutions or don't really know where to go. Our goal to scale weekly flow is to make it a go-to resource hub for all types of educational content, science-backed content, and making or creating more in-person and digital meetups.
We're also hosting a really special weekly flow on the 22nd of this month as a part of Wonderlust. So if you would like to be a part of that and come check out weekly flow, that would be a great time, as well as going along with the rest of the Wonderlust events. It's going to be at the incubator at noon.
You kind of mentioned with Weekly Flow, the conversations weren't specifically about pain associated with menstruation, but just general wellness in general.
Yeah.
Are there going to be future products from Onyx that talk about other kind of general or more broad health issues?
Yeah, for sure. So the idea behind Onyx is like right now we're focusing on menstruation, but we hope to be able to associate every menstruator to associate an Onyx product with a problem that they have. So whether that's like prepubescent all the way into menopause, that there's an Onyx product for each phase of your journey. So definitely beyond menstruation is in the future.
And also in the same breath, just creating a new standard for everything. Just to like throw a statistic out there, we didn't start clinical trials for women until 1997, and like we've been making and doing things forever. So there's a lot that needs to be done. Yeah.
You mentioned that beta was going well. Can you tell us what types of benefits other than a decrease in pain that your beta babes are experiencing?
That's a good question. So, okay, the question was what other benefits are people experiencing besides relieving pain? Over here, besides relieving pain, she felt her shoulders were relaxed and her head felt more clear, which is really great to hear. And there's definitely more research that we need to do and data to collect to understand the benefits of them.
Okay, I have several questions. One, what are side effects? Two, how do you address the 12-year-old girl who has her period? How does that CBD, like, are there limits to the entry into the market? So I'll stop there, but I have about 5 more questions, but go ahead.
So what are side effects? The beautiful thing about Onyx and like the main reason why we even created the product is so that we're giving menstruators an option to take something that doesn't have a long, quiet commercial with a whole bunch of like side effects maybe.
Right.
Like a prescription drug would. So really side effects we haven't heard any from our beta testing through research, drowsiness at most, but other than that, no effects. Okay.
Also, like CBD in general, we have more endocannabinoid receptors in our pelvic region, which regulates pain, your immune system.
Manages inflammation.
Inflammation. So that's kind of why also from peer-reviewed science-backed research, that is why we incorporated that into the formula.
12-year-olds.
We've been talking to moms. See if there are, we've been talking to moms, talking to parents to see what their reservations are when it comes to age limit in CBD. And I think that's just more so of a matter of information and the lack of information and the stigma that's also associated with CBD. So that's why Weekly Flow on a lower level, but like building out a platform on a higher level is important, just so we can address the taboos, we can address CBD, we can address menstruation in a way that seems really cohesive and favorable versus kind of like, oh, is it weed? Or like, I don't want to talk about periods. So that it's a really inclusive environment.
Tammy, your hand up?
So you're talking about you want to increase your beta testers. What is the current sample size and what is your ideal sample size?
The current sample size is about 20, and the ideal sample size is about 200.
And is that something that you've worked out with, like, your sponsors, J&J?
For the beta testing, no, it is voluntary. So people sign up, we'll send them an email and say, hey, would you like to actually be a part of the movement that we're trying to push forward through menstruation? And they say, yeah, send me some free product, and they'll try it, give us feedback, and collect that.
I need to clarify my question a little bit. So what I'm saying is, how did you determine that 200 is like your ideal size? Is that something that you're going to collect enough information so that when you go back to a Johnson & Johnson or someone, they will qualify that that was an adequate sample size? Or is that just something you guys have decided?
So, so just like looking from past research and the sample sizes of those tests as well, and to see what information they extracted from that, or the data that they extracted from that, and most importantly, making sure that it's a diverse group of people, whether that's age range, ethnicity, culture, background. So that is why we chose that number. Thank you.
One question real quick. You all are doing great, by the way. You'd mentioned, just wanted to break the ice. You'd mentioned your weekly flow event being held at the incubator. A lot of people in here probably have never been and do not have access. Do you have plans on expanding that outside so you can be more inclusive with the community?
Absolutely. So when you sign up for Weekly Flow on our Eventbrite link, you'll sign up, and then we'll have a list of names. So you'll easily be able to go through the security. So it's like a more seamless check-in process. Hopefully we get so big that we have to move to a new location and everyone and their mom can come. But at the moment, it's just a list to make it more easy.
And also, to be fully transparent, it's really pretty up there and couch vibes. So if anybody knows a space that has really pretty couches, we will go there if it's more accessible.
Couches are essential. Couches
Yeah, couches.
Hey y'all, love this product. Really quick question: when it becomes available, where will you be able to purchase it from? Will you be able to go to the store and get it, or online because of the CBD? Just curious.
So CBD is, she asked where could you purchase once we launch. So CBD is legal in all 50 states, so it could be distributed anywhere. Initially, we'd like to use like a direct-to-consumer model, able to reach customers, engage that first bout of feedback, and then move on to distributors like a Walgreens or a Target, so that you can also get it at wherever you buy tampons.
Sorry, I just wanted to clarify from the earlier point. So you guys don't have any formal industry collaborators as regards to your research parameters and design at this time?
Outside of our advisory board, no.
Okay.
Do you know anybody? You got connections?
You know all the people, Max. You know everyone.
What's that hat?
Hi. It's me again. So you had mentioned during your weekly flows, you also have attracted like non-menstruators in the conversation as well. A couple of things there of like, have there been common trends or questions that they bring about and wanted to get to know more about, or how are you attracting more of them as well? Because I do like see the power and like the potential of like that supportive community. Because I remember one of our weekly flows, we had a girl who shared her story about how when she first got her period, her dad had no idea what to do, and so kind of being able to incorporate education and advocacy in that conversation, I think will be really powerful.
So she was saying, how do we attract non-menstruators or people who don't have a period? So that's actually a really great question, because that's kind of why we shifted over to a midweek wellness check-in, because originally it was called Period Circle, which sounds like super exclusive and doesn't really sound like, it can get uncomfy. So it's a matter of just like using inclusive language, and also using inclusive questions so everyone feels included in the conversation.
And also when you see a bunch of pretty girls just sitting around talking in the office and then want to see what's going on over there. So they'll find out we're talking about periods and then they're interested and then they stay.
Yeah.
I had a question about the CBD. One, is there any THC in it? Two, how do you do quality control to make sure that the CBD that you're sourcing doesn't have that problem? And then three, you mentioned it's a natural product, but natural could just mean anything. And so how are you going to ensure that the CBD you're getting is like quality and I would say organic would be best, but that's my bent. How are you going to have those controls in place, and like how's that going to be part of your messaging? Is that 3 parts okay?
So right now for our MVP, we are using broad spectrum oil and CBD isolate, so there's no THC in the formula. And for MVP right
also
now.
Also batch tested, also for quality control batch testing.
Yes, for quality control, we're doing batch testing. But for our go-to-market design, that is in the works at the moment just because we are connecting with custom manufacturers. And the custom manufacturers that we are connecting are all FDA or what's the word?
Regulatory
good
compliant.
manufacturing practices. Does that answer your question?
A lot of things are FDA okay, unfortunately, and is lowly regulated, but it's really important for us to do that. So even when it comes to the CBD that our beta testers are using, we send them the what is the sheet? Just
The quality control testing.
The sheet.
Quality assurance. So what sheet?
The sheet that has the chemical breakdown of everything that is in that batch of CBD that they are trying.
Yeah, everything is fully transparent. We try to we try to
absolutely.
give as much information up front.
Erica?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you see, but what's the difference of just like put some quality CBD up there? I mean, do you need the applicator? Really, if you're just, are you selling a concept? Are you selling the CBD oil, the natural product, which I think that's the rest most concerned with? Or are you,
No, I think we're selling ease more than anything.
Yeah,
So
like
think about what it
touch-free.
would be like if you were inserting a suppository and your legs up, trying to do that really quickly. That doesn't work for the working woman. That doesn't work for a student. That doesn't work for someone that has somewhere to be at any time. So being able to like have that instant relief is.
Yeah. So for our MVP, so this is for our beta testing to prove our proof of concept. Our go-to-market design is going to be a different application. So we're removing essentially the sponge and the stick, and it's going to be a reusable applicator. Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Let's give these ladies a hand. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, that was an interesting conversation for a Wednesday morning, right? Isn't it Wednesday? Isn't it, what is it, Wellness Wednesday, right? Weekly flow. Yeah, noon, right? At the incubator, 5th floor of the city building, all right? We will be back next month for our 1 million cups. You just met our 2 presenters, Entrepreneur Lab and JD here with Boxworth, yeah. And so, Boxtown. I don't have it in front of me, y'all, forgive me. And so please come back and join us next month for our next 1MC. Is that all right? All right, thanks a lot. Have a good Wednesday.